And we are Exposed.
Exposed the podcast.
Oh, welcome back, you guys. Did you miss us?
We missed you guys.
But we had to come in for a quick notification of what's going on December 27th.
Yes.
We have something really, really special. And
it's serious, right?
Yeah, it's kind of serious. And extremely important, especially in regards to domestic abuse victims.
And what we do and everything that we stand for. It seems like every aspect of serving is directly connected to this.
Right.
So it made sense for us to fully be on board, right?
Because we thought we was on vacation, though, right?
No, we thought we were, but no,
the work never stops.
It doesn't.
The mission has to continue to move, and so that's why we're here, making sure that we get an event in at the very end of the year, right?
And it brings such it's necessary.
It's absolutely necessary.
So we are here to welcome that.
Yes.
And we're also here to bring that awareness.
Yes.
And we want many of you all to be educated like us, right?
Yeah.
So
for those who don't know, because we also have to educate ourselves on it, what is Marsy's Law?
So Marsy's Law, and I'm going to be reading literally from the true definition.
Right, because we don't want to mix up anything. This is a true, something that's going to be voted on, and we need your support.
And that's literally coming up in a few months in 2020. April.
Yeah.
April is that time frame. But what is Marsy's Law? Marsy's Law is really just a law that would give victims the constitutional right to enforce their rights in the court of law should they become infringed upon during the criminal justice process. And I know Laverne really can't speak to any type of court criminal justice.
Yeah, so like, you know, everybody's
situation with domestic violence.
Everybody's story is different. So for me, that was not my struggle. My kid's father we weren't married, and he wasn't fighting in court for custody or placement or any of that. So I never had to encounter some of the things, a lot of the things that a lot of victims go through. I have minimal experience in that area.
And you know what? Bless your soul that you did not have to step foot in front of so many giants, because when one is faced with the criminal justice system of Wisconsin, it is quite frightful. And especially if you are unaware of the laws that are against you, that are for you, you just have no idea. And navigating that can be extremely overwhelming for someone that has chosen to take the step of courage, which is leaving an unsafe situation, right?
Right.
So Marsy's Law will really just, like I said, is going to allow us to have additional constitutional laws that are in place. And I'm just going to read off some of the goals of Marsy's Law that could possibly happen come 2020 in April.
Right.
Victims of DV will have that treatment to dignity and respect. You would think that that's already in order or that's in place, but clearly it's something that needs to be emphasized and implemented in the court system, right? Strengthen the rights of victims. Victims do have rights. However, specifically for a victim, there can always be additional rights to protect them.
Clarity on the rights and rights that are not there. It just seems so common, but we have to do this. So continue.
So another one that really stood out to me was informing victims of court hearings, offender statuses, connecting with prosecutors. All of just that communication is just so imperative. When you know what's what and what's going on with your case specifically, you know how to move a little bit better. It's already complex and very challenging navigating through the court system, but
now you have to do it with the person that tried to kill you.
Absolutely. And then so if there's an added layer of protection or education, or like I said, the communication,
even separation, so that we don't have to show up in court at the same time.
Or be in the same waiting room
Right.
with that person. Can you talk about how
Right.
intimidating that is
Right.
through that process? Restoring the rights of the accused and the victim. So it's not lopsided, it's more so checks and balance. And we just want to make sure everyone has a fair chance.
Right, right.
You know, so that's basically what we will be talking about. We have an event coming up, like Laverne said, but Laverne wanted to share a few things about Marsy's Law that would actually help us definitely support and continue to support the process.
Yeah, so some of the things that are proposed for Wisconsin Victims of Crime Amendment. And so there's several things on here, and but I'm just going to point out a couple. Here it is. It says the current situation constituents. Yes. The current law. Jesus. It says a victim has the opportunity to make a statement to the court at disposition. We are voting to say upon request that the victim is to be heard in any proceedings during which a right of the victim is implicated, including release, plea, sentencing, disposition, parole, revocation, expungement, or pardon. So what this says to me is that right now we have the opportunity to make a statement during the disposition, but none of these other areas. And I think upon request that a victim should have the right to be able to speak to. And the second one that stuck with me was, or is, the current situation is that information about the outcome of the case and the release of the accused. What we want it to change to is upon request to timely notice of any release or escape of the accused or death of the accused if the accused is in custody or on supervision at the time of death. That is what we want. So the key word here is timely. We just want notification. Yeah, so a heads up. And so there's many more things on this list, and if you want to hear more about that, that's where we come in. Expose will be hosting an event. It's going to be a Marsy's Law informational session. And so because this is our passion, law and changing the laws in regards to supporting and helping victims,
or even just putting implementation on the laws that are already in place,
right? Because it's not necessarily changing an entire law, it's just trying to be more specific around the laws that already exist.
That's right.
We know that we can appreciate that there are laws in place, because there was a time where it wasn't at all.
Right.
Especially with married couples, women were considered their husband's property, and there was no consequences for that. So we do appreciate that. But now that we know more, we know some of the flaws within what the writings are, let's make those changes. Let's improve on how it reads and what it reads to support and for the safety of these survivors. They're trying to get out of these situations. The last thing they need is additional hurdles and to around about get abused by the system. And
that's where I think many survivors experience the brunt of the trauma and the re-traumatization, where you have to show up and you don't know what to expect. You may run into your abuser, you may be in the same waiting area of your abuser, or you just don't know what the proceedings are, any type of notification of what's going on with your abuser. So just having additional protection, and that's what Marsy's Law stands for. It's just some additional protection for those who find themselves in a survivor position due to domestic violence.
Right. How many women do we know? Specifically, no names, but specifically, she has left the abusive relationship. She has children, but she has to continue to co-parent with her abuser. And he uses the court system
as a form of manipulation and control. Still. So she's still technically in an abusive relationship through the court system.
Right. She actually says, I'm not sure if I can say I'm a survivor because I'm still
going through it.
Victimized. And so she comes to mind, you know what I'm talking about, but she comes to mind when I think about this law so that things are a little bit more specific
and clear. Yes. And so so having some clarity when we're navigating through these complexities of the court system will just allow someone to, you know, feel a little bit more freer. You know, and so that's what we're looking for. We're here to provide more information to the community as well as the world about how we can provide some better constitutional rights, you know, for survivors. And we won't be doing that alone. We'll have some people that will be there that have endorsed along with us Marsy's Law.
Right. So the event December 27th is going to be at
Sweet Black Coffee.
And it's going to be a panel discussion, just this amazing panel discussion of people who are going to be promoting, supporting, and explaining what Marsy's Law is in more depth. So we want to be able to be of some help and share our platform to make sure that the word gets out and that people understand and embrace what we're trying to do. So yes, it's going to be, and so with that, well, we're just going to say it's going to be some food. Now, we don't want you to come just because of the food, but it will be some catered food.
We want people to come in mind with a family, a friend, someone that has been connected to, you know, these unforeseen circumstances, unfortunate circumstances. All of us are at the table. And the only way to bring about change is if you actually take a seat and you pull up to that table and join us in some of
you just gotta be heard.
And you know what? Even if you don't want to be heard, you may just have questions. So those that are going to be there, that we are going to be, you know, asking questions about the Marsy's Law and why they are fully on board in endorsing this law. It may answer some of your questions. It may allow you to go back to that person and say, you know what, they have some additional protection for you. And this is how you now can plan a way of escape. You just never know whose lives you may be saving.
Absolutely.
So we want to get that message out there. And we were thinking, like, why do we need to wait until 2020? We have to start now because lives are impacted still today. Domestic violence is 365, not just for the month of October, or we can push it off. We just can't do that. So we have to do it now. So come out and join us.
It's
December
free.
27th.
It's absolutely free.
It's free. It's going to be 1 to 3.
1 to 3 at
Sweet Black Coffee.
And the address is?
Its address is 2035 West Fond du Lac. It's a nice little hidden dive, I want to say, but it's right there on North Avenue in Fond du Lac.
Really nice space. Part of the community, has been there for years. Shout out to Simon.
Thank you so much for opening your space to us. And to the community, rather, you know, and bringing light to how we can provide more safety to not only to people in the community but to one another, right? Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing you there. I'm excited about ending 2019 actually with this event.
Yes, this will be our last event of the year, but this is a nice kickoff.
I know, right?
To 2020. Right.
So I'm Laverne Badger.
I'm Natalie Hayden.
And we're exposed.
We're on special assignment.
We will see you December 27th.
All right, guys, take care and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.